Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Jonathan, joined as always, yet again, by the lovely and talented Leslie.
Hello, hello.
And it's only been, what, a couple
Several
of months?
months.
Yeah, because, life happens, work happens, things happen.
Yes.
But
But
here
we
we are.
have spoken in that time. It's just we
Oh,
haven't been on this venue
right,
in a
right.
while.
Yeah, we talk all the time because when I go through something where I'm like, I need Leslie's opinion before I, break the furniture or whatever, I give Leslie a call. But Leslie, in these past couple of months, you've had some gigs, I've had some gigs, you've worked on some really big things in your marketing director capacity. I've worked on some things on more of a producer casting capacity, but meanwhile, we're both doing talent work as well. Has that shed some extra beams of light on the industry for you doing both simultaneously?
Great question. Yes, I recently had the experience of producing a commercial, a full, broadcast 30-second spot where I did the casting and I was there on the day and kind of directing and running around, and it was fun. It was really fun. I, it's weird to be on set and not be talent, I have to say, but I was happy to be involved in that because it did show me really a lot of the other pieces that go into creating, a commercial, and it also showed me when you have good talent how much smoother the day runs. So
Oh,
it,
right.
yes, I mean, and I was in charge of the casting, as I mentioned, so I made sure to hire professional talent who had, a professional looking, profile when I was looking at them, and they all showed up on time. They had their wardrobe. It was good, and having come from the talent side, I knew how to talk to them and what to tell them, and so the communication was really good. I'm saying how good I was at this job,
But I
but
think that's great to say that because it's true. As a talent, you know what a good talent not only looks like on the outside, but what all of their stuff, profile pictures and video footage and things like that. You know what that looks like so that you can mitigate the risk of hiring that person because we've got one day to do this.
exactly. And then how they communicated back to me was important too. So it was that open and that flow of communication. And I know at when I am talent on a job, there's always that bit of anxiety when you're rolling up to the first, set and who you're going to meet and am I in the right place? And so I didn't want them to feel any of that, or I wanted to try to mitigate that as much as possible. So gave them my cell phone number, made sure I was there before them so that, everybody felt comfortable. And it's kind of like you're hosting a party. You've got all these people coming, they're looking for you. You're telling, making sure they're comfortable and they're having a good time.
Yeah.
But it really went well. It was a little bit of a bitty project compared to some of these other huge things, but for me, it was a big deal.
But that doesn't mean it's less important
Very true. To
or that the
this
client is
company,
less
it
important.
was,
Right.
yeah, they were, and I've worked with this company for quite a while in the marketing capacity. So, and I was an extra. I was in the background, so I got in there.
Hey, okay, there you go.
They're like, "Can you sit in that chair?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, okay." Then
On the
then
outside,
they
yeah,
paid me
okay.
as background talent.
Yeah, getting that double
Yeah,
money.
that's right.
So on the
Hey.
outside, you were like, yeah, sure, I'll go sit back there. But on the inside, you're like, yes, I get to be in it.
Gotta get in front of that camera.
That's, you know what? It's not just a passion, it's a career. And it's not just a career, it's something that we would do even if we were expected to volunteer and do it for free. We're not volunteering and we're not doing it for free because you can't buy groceries for your family with a monologue or time steps, you know?
That's right.
Or how much for this pound of bacon? I know my girl in Georgia on my mind. It's not going to work that way. So yeah, a value for value exchange is important, but
Is
I
yeah.
think you really have found a thing in life if you would do it regardless of whether or not it paid. But luckily, you're in a position where you get to charge for it.
100%. Yes. And somebody was telling me something. I don't know. I think my husband sent me like a little Instagram clip or something. It was like, if you're not sure what it is in life that you want to do, think about what your options are and go with the thing that makes you even the slightest bit more excited than the other things. And to me, when I think of these, of working in show business as we do and being on camera talent, like that's exciting to me because every job is different. You're creating something fun, you're meeting new people. There's so many reasons why, but like that is the thing. So that much more exciting, but for me, it's a lot more exciting than what I do otherwise. And so that's kind of like a good guide. So if you're feeling that way, that like, yeah, I'm really interested in starting out a career in this field because it could be very exciting. It's true. It is.
And if you're feeling a little worn out, a little beaten down, I guess if I were describing myself at times, maybe the word
Mm.
would be bitter.
Just a little.
Just a little. Uh, I think it's important sometimes to remember not just why you got into it in the first place, and not just what you love about it, but also it's important to remember just how GD great you are at it. Because if you're
Mm.
great at it, you wouldn't have done it at all professionally. You wouldn't have made it to whatever point you're at. Whether it's full time or part time, or you do a little gig here and there are people who have those dreams and never even take the shot.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and I think that that little bit, like you said, a little bit of bitterness comes from the fact that it is a business. And I think, Jonathan, a lot of times where you come from is, just don't take advantage of me. I am the commodity here, my talent, my face, my voice, whatever you're using. Like, and so when you feel like you're getting a little bit, taken advantage of, that's when I think and through the years, you've seen a number, of different times being taken advantage by different parties involved. So,
Hmm.
and we as talent are expected always to give our 100% or more, and we do. So we don't want to be treated less than that either.
Absolutely. Very well said.
Thank you.
It reminds me of something that I don't remember who first said this, whether they said it to me or it was on a video, because, we actor people, we watch all these videos and interviews, whatever. But again, I don't know if this was something that like the me in my head came up with or if I saw it somewhere. But you know how a lot of actors will say after an audition, a callback, or even a job, they'll say, "Thank you for the opportunity."
Yes.
That makes my
That's like,
blood pressure go up a little bit.
that's like, you might as well just,
Mhm.
bye, never see you again.
It's like, where's my listen April? Because I know, I know that when actors say that, they mean well. And they're actually presenting an attitude of gratitude, right?
Yes.
But this was not an opportunity. This is a job. They're not doing you any favors. And you know what? You're not doing them any favors, actors. You applied for a job. They picked you not because, and I'm not being angry or negative here, because I can tend to get that way from time to time. And Leslie knows to calm me down. But they didn't pick you because they knew your rent was due at the end of the month. They didn't pick you because they knew that you needed the money or whatever. They picked you, I'll say, for purely selfish reasons. And that's okay. They're allowed to use those reasons, right? They're supposed
Sure.
to. They picked you because you looked right, because you were available, because you lived in the right place, because they liked your audition, whatever. But you're not somebody coming in to do a favor. You're not dropping a tithe in the bucket. You are providing a professional service to a company who has hired you because they believe you are the best to fill that role. It's not an opportunity, it's a job.
So true. And at the end of the day, there is somebody who's creating a deliverable. This is what I learned, when I, as a producer of this commercial that I was speaking about, I'm responsible for this end product to the client. And so, yes, I am pulling in the people who I think will make a great end product. And that's really what it's about. And so, yeah, it is a job and you got to do it well.
And if this talent doesn't look right or isn't right for the next commercial, it's not like their phone's going to ring. This is not church. This is an investment that a client is making, and talent. We are a small cog in a machine, but an important cog.
Sure.
Don't you
Oh,
think?
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
a shoot is made or broken by its talent. And I feel like in this industry, and I won't go too deep on this, but I feel like we as an industry aren't compensating our non-celebrity talent the way that we should. And I feel like that's because many producers who are video people, camera people, production people, marketing people, but they probably aren't necessarily actory people.
Mm,
Most producers think, well, every actor that I see is going to be great because I called an agency. Well, have I got a surprise for you? It's not everybody you get is going to be great. Not everybody you pick is going to be great. Look is only part of what that talent has to offer.
mm,
And it's my opinion that look should be maybe in the middle, if not at the very end of that list.
mm.
Whereas producers who will assume everybody's at the same level, everybody's got the same level of experience, or maybe what they're being asked to do is super easy. Just stand there and say the line. They're not thinking about all the things that go into that. So I think look is number one for producers and
Yeah.
casting people and agents. But I think it's like number 10 when it comes to a director who understands how to work with talent, with a talent who is looking for a good scene partner to go back and forth with.
Mm,
Especially if you're a spokesperson, you don't have to be a member of that target demographic.
correct.
If that were the case, then all funeral home advertisements would be performed by ghosts.
Right. That theory, yes, it's true, and you see that quite a bit. Oh, will they connect with our audience? And really, that I think depends on the spokesperson and the message, and and the delivery. So it's a good point. Yeah, and what's really humbling? I remember starting out in Florida and going on, when we would go to castings in person and walking into the waiting room of, oh gosh, I forget which one it was, but maybe it was, oh, anyway,
I know the one.
and seeing, a row of people who look just like me, brown hair, brown eyes, five, whatever, and I'm like, oh, I'm not special. So look, they have a general look, but it's really what you do when you get in the room, I guess, and how you stand out.
And now, how often are you even invited to go into a room?
Very rarely. I
Right.
mean,
And if you do, especially in the Central Florida market, get invited into the room, when you get into that room, what are you doing? You're giving a meaningful
watching
wave.
yes, watching fireworks.
Yeah, you're pretending to watch fireworks. My favorite was you're all, I won't say which casting director this was, okay? But it was one of my favorites because he says, you're all sitting, he brought all of us in. So there were 5 or 6 of us standing shoulder to shoulder. He
Mm,
goes, all right, so in this scene, you're all sitting at the dinner table. And I missed the rest of the instruction because I'm just like, "Wh- where do we on the
we're just
floor?
sitting.
No,
We're
no, no.
doing
You
it down.
just pretend.
Don't
For a
face each
moment,
other. Face the camera.
for a moment, I thought it was going to be one of those like, those how mimes will sit on a park bench, but there's no bench
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
I'm like, if he asks us to do that, I'm out of here.
I'm
How much is
out.
this pay? Oh, I'm out of here. Um, but no, it wasn't that. It was more like the Last Supper. We're all
Yeah.
next to each other.
Gotcha.
And
Mhm.
it was an MOS shoot. Now, MOS stands for Mit Out Sound. You know that history, right?
I
Do you know where
do.
that comes
Yes.
from?
Um, old, like when film first started,
Yeah.
director saying that, right? Or somebody saying that. I
I
don't know
don't
the
remember the
actual
director's
story.
name. I should
Yeah.
look it up. But there was a director who was Russian. And so he meant to say without sound, but because of the language and whatever the accent, it came out as mit or vit, without sound. And so MOS is how that came about. Anyway,
Yes.
that was a long
Right. Which
way to get.
has stuck all these years. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah. So it was a commercial for, I don't know if it was a grocery store chain or whatever, but everybody in this family should be talking in real life, but the camera wasn't recording any audio.
Mhm.
And so the cast director said, and you guys are just having conversations. Well, when you have 8 people shoulder to shoulder on camera, all making up dialogue, and some of them look just like you, others look radically different. You can tell it's 3 dads, 2 moms, there's 4 sons. We're
Mhm.
all auditioning for the same roles. And everybody's just talking at the same time and trying to steal the focus, whatever. I remember I booked it though, but the reason I booked it was because I didn't say much of anything. I stood in the middle and I just reacted to everybody talking at the same time.
Good. Yeah. See?
And I just kind of looked at the camera like looking at the person who was going to be watching this going, this is what you're paying for. I don't think that subtext came through the lens.
Right.
I think it was in the scene. I
Right.
look
Right.
like my family's annoying. But yeah, I remember thinking somebody paid money for this. Nowadays, we don't go in the room anymore. Nowadays, we're sitting at home
Yes.
like this.
Yes. Which is still awkward and still and
Right.
still doesn't feel natural. We Chad and I did a call back together in this room on Zoom, and it was, you're not sure how much they can even see your hands. And, so all movement below, your box is gone. So you better be able to show it with, up here, but it doesn't get any more comfortable. I think it's just a little bit more convenient.
It's much more convenient to stand at the dinner table with your family by yourself. So there comes a point where look is really all that they're looking for.
Mm,
When the truth is, do they really need these talent? Do they really need to look like they're all related? I guarantee you right now, the mom and dad weren't related when they met. So how do 2 people look like they're married? Like, how do they look that way? I mean, maybe they're the same age, whatever.
right.
But nowadays, today's families are made up of every color and every
Sure.
type. And so when you see these breakdowns that say looking for a real family must look like a real family, I go,
Right.
that
That's
right
just
there says, you agent, you casting people, you don't know what you're doing.
It is funny. I always got paired with husbands that looked like me, dark hair, dark eyes, like always. And my husband always would get paired, with wives with blonde hair. And, but he and I are married. I don't know. How do we look like we're married? It doesn't make any
Right.
sense. But okay, whatever.
You go in, wait, you're saying you go into the audition together and they go, no, no, no,
No,
no,
you
this
two.
isn't
No,
right.
you two don't belong together. No. How is this actually working in real life?
And I respect the commercials and even the films that will get a little diversity in going in there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the client, the top client that has to make these decisions.
Hmm.
And you can't fault the agent and the casting person unless they didn't even try to consult with the client and say, maybe it doesn't matter if the mother and the father are of the same ethnic background. Maybe the child, sure, can look like a mix of the two, or maybe it the kid doesn't look like a mix of them. Or maybe there's a third adult who's the next door neighbor who brings her kid or his kid. A group of people together, that's what you're selling. You're not selling a bloodline coming into a seafood restaurant.
Nobody sees the family tree.
Right.
Nobody's doing the background research.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
Well,
working this marketing angle and
yeah.
casting this commercial, did did you find moments while casting, while looking at whether it was audition tapes or profiles, did you find yourself slipping into that uh, uh, easy hole to fall into of just going for look, just going for those things that we know producers and casting people always fall into? Or did you look at this and go, okay, immediately, I know what to do differently?
I tried not to fall into that. Well, it was interesting because we had an older couple, and then part of the commercial was this same couple, but as younger kids, so like 12. So I did have to say, okay, could this young girl grow into this lead talent, this older talent, and could this young
Oh,
boy grow into this guy? And so that I had to do because I had to tell the story of these people growing up together, and then getting engaged. So, and I did wind up casting somebody who I knew and worked with. So I know she would have been great lead talent. And then, quite honestly, the talent pool for 12 to say 15 that I got wasn't that big in this area where I am. So I was kind of limited, but I found four, great talent, and it made sense. And the young girl that I chose really looked like she could grow up to be the lead. Um,
that's convenient.
it
That's
worked.
good.
It worked for sure. And they were all, great talent, professional, showed up on time. And the younger ones, of course, had their mom, their moms were the ones communicating with me, obviously. And but speaking of diversity and kind of as a marketing person, thinking about, well, yes, this is a story about two people who get engaged, but why couldn't it be two men or two women? Or, like we could have done different vignettes of different, types of engagements and stuff, but we just didn't take it that far. And we kind of did the conventional thing, which in this market in my area, I guess makes sense. But I don't know. I wanted to go
I think it
a different
always makes
direction.
sense, but I think it's perfectly okay for it to be conventional. That's why they
Yes.
call it conventional. It's
It's
perfectly
most
okay.
people's convention. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
fine. I just think when you're told that's the only way it can be, and anything outside of that is a
It's
no-no,
right.
that's where I think we have issues. But if it's we got the best people, it was written this way, it kind of
Mhm.
works, we found the people, great. If we make a huge effort to be extra diverse, I think that's almost almost as bad. I want
Mm.
it to be, it doesn't matter who the family is. Whether it's two men, two women, a man and a woman, it doesn't matter. A family is a family. Maybe it's a whole bunch of single people, working professionals who don't have significant others on Thanksgiving, and that's why they go to Red Lobster
They're
together. Like,
together.
I don't know.
Right. Sure.
A family is a
Absolutely.
family. A group
Right.
of people enjoying time together at that business or that restaurant or using that product, to me, that is a family. And if maybe we have options, maybe the client can say, all right, show me we've got the conventional and maybe I don't want to call it unconventional, but the other options.
Right. Other people.
Right.
Mhm.
Or when in that sales meeting, maybe the company can pitch, I think we do two spots. Let's do one that's
Yes.
conventional to fit what it is that you're asking for. But you know what? Let's do another to bring in other demographics and other people and to be a little bit more inclusive. Sure, it might cost you extra money, but if we're going to put your face out there and your brand out there, why not be a face and a brand and a name that is known for inclusivity?
Sure, absolutely. And I love that. And one of the other things, Jonathan, that I learned was that, as talent, well, excuse me, as on the marketing side or the production side of it, I saw how easily talent can be used in so many different ways. So a client is investing in this commercial production, but this footage is going to be used in we're going to take screenshots and put it on billboards and print, and it snowballs because the client's like, oh, I love this. Can we do this? Can we do that? So as talent, you always have to make sure that you are that the purchase of this material and you is for all of that. And if you ever see yourself on a billboard and you're like, I don't remember signing that to be on a billboard, then you got to raise your hand, talk to your agent or something, because it just happens. All of a sudden we've got this material and the client wants to use it because they paid for it. So
And I think if you see yourself on a billboard and you weren't paid extra for that, now this is just me, I tend to not get that upset about that, because if I was able to, and if I got the gig, I was able to, I'm going to make sure that the money I've been paid for the shoot and usage is enough to where I feel like, you know what? I'm okay. Use it however you want. And you don't have to tell me about it, but I hope you do.
right. Yeah,
If,
well, you have this experience. Like I'm sure you learned that over time, and you are really good at
yes.
getting your rate, what you're worth for sure. But I'm thinking of like newer people who may not realize that, oh, I was in a commercial that's on TV, but also now I'm seeing myself in all these other places. Is that allowed? And generally, yes, it is. It just depends on how that contract was written, I guess, and just little things to learn along the way.
And this
But
industry is changing. It's
yeah.
changing because it used to be print, broadcast. Now you've got different types of digital broadcast, then you've got cable, and there's so much to keep up with, and it should be the agent really that does that. But what if you're submitting on Backstage or Actors Access or, God help us, casting networks? And casting networks, there's a reason I say that. Call me, I'll tell you what we need to
Oh.
do here. But there's so many ways to find jobs that will pay you less than you deserve, give you less time than you need to schedule it, and make it way more complicated to audition than it ever needs to be. There are tons of opportunities for that. And it's hard to know what is what. Is this YouTube or broadcast? Or is it both? Because now it's kind of both,
It
right?
is, yeah. And once it goes online, which almost everything does anyway, it's out there in perpetuity. So no matter what you do, if they're buying and they're renewing it for TV, I mean,
Right.
it's online. It's going to be out there forever. So, and scarily enough, I think when I started, I feel like they were calling like YouTube and stuff new media. Like it
I
I
remember
was like, what's
that.
new media? What is that?
I
Oh,
remember that.
means you're going to be on YouTube or, in some digital space somewhere. Like, okay. Anyway,
Oh, I do remember new media. Now, is it just media?
I guess I don't know. I don't know that I'm still reading that carefully.
It, but it's like, okay, here's the new thing now. And then I know we're going to run out of time, but here's the new thing now. The whole TikTok UGC, user generated content thing, that doesn't mean that it's worth less. I'm not saying worthless, I'm saying worth less. But
Right.
if you look, sometimes they'll say, these companies, we pay $100 for our new talent, and you can film it using your phone, and it's only 30 seconds. It doesn't matter if it takes me 30 seconds to film it, or if it takes me 3 hours to film it, or 8 hours to film it. I'm not charging you for the amount of time that I'm hitting record until I get it right. I'm not doing that. If I was charging you based on the amount of time, then listen, I'd take all day and charge as much as I could per hour, right? Isn't that what we do? If you're paying me by the job, let's say it's $100, I can get that done. Take one, 25 seconds, send it to you. There's $100. Great. But if I say that the ability to do it correctly, the way you, Mr. or Ms. Client, want it on take one, so that the rest of that day can be spent sending any retakes or any touch ups. Or if you change the script in the middle of your workday and send it to me to update it, I can do that for you right away. That is what I'm charging you for. And the 20 some odd years that, I've been
Okay.
doing this, right?
Sure.
The
Mhm.
college loans I'm still paying off.
So-
That's what I'm charging you for. So when I scoff at your $100, it's not me being pompous or egotistical. It's you not understanding how to operate with the professionals who work in the industry that you think you're leaders in.
Yes.
Was that too
And
much? Okay.
no, you're so right. And just know also that most UGC content is trackable. So the client knows exactly how much money they're making off of your video. And who knows, your video could be the one that gets 1 million views and sells millions of dollars worth of products, and you got paid $100 for it. So UGC is a whole other beast that I've learned quite a bit about over the last few years. And knowing what your value is and what you bring to the table is very important to build up a viable UGC career. Because I do quite a bit because of my schedule.
And confidence plays a huge part in that. And here's the great thing about confidence: it can be unfounded, it can be basically a lie to yourself because you only got to maintain that lie for 30, 40 seconds,
Sure.
right?
Some people just have they just have confidence too, and some people just don't feel like they do. In other words, just what you're saying, you could have confidence and maybe it's not necessarily warranted, but you just got it. So if you could fake it, go
I
for
think a
it.
lot of that comes from live work, especially
Mm,
theater or
yeah,
even theme park work where there's no take two. There's no going back to try to make that moment land again. Even though we can do that in UGC or commercial or film, even though we can, there's that element of I don't want to say danger, but there's that slightest hint of excitement that what goes out there is what's going out there.
yeah. Yeah, and the camera can swallow you up. I mean, it happens, it's happened to me too. If you don't have that, if you don't come with that confidence, it could definitely show. And so when I was first starting out, I was like, this is a fake it till you make it kind of situation. And then over time, I remember actually being on set one time years ago and going, oh, I feel like I'm a professional now. Like I feel like I've
You
just figured
actually
all of this out.
wait, you actually had that moment?
Yeah, where I was like, oh, I know what I'm
Wow.
doing here. Like it was like on a spokesperson gig and reading the teleprompter and stuff. And it was just going really smoothly. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm a professional.
I
Look
don't
at me
think that's
go.
typical. I don't think that's typical. I don't think anybody just has that epiphany type moment where they're just like, "Oh, I did it."
I d- Look at me.
I mean,
But
I don't know. I would love to
yeah,
have one of those moments.
maybe I just, you start thinking, telling yourself that you're something and you'll become, start thinking like that. So I was just listening to an audiobook today and the guy's like, I wanted to become a runner. So I started to think like a runner and he had to go through a bunch of stuff to actually become a runner, but it's really just
But
changing
do
your
you?
energy.
But do
I,
like to
if you
become a
think you
runner,
are,
to become a runner, just walk
just
faster and
run.
faster and faster.
Well, he said he kept having reasons why he shouldn't go out running that day, and he would
Oh,
succumb to those reasons. Oh, it's too hot, it's too cold, I'm too tired. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been there, I know that. But anyway,
Yes.
at the end of the story, it was like I shifted my energy and I became a runner. And that's kind of like how I felt like, oh, now I feel like I'm a professional at this. And then my confidence really, boosted up. But it took a couple of years, for me to make that realization.
And a lot of people think, well, I'm too young, too old, too fat, too skinny, too this, too that. In advertising, especially, like, you know what? Not even especially. In all of entertainment, at least the kind that utilize people, there is representation, at least should be, for all types. Just go down your Netflix. I was going to call it Q. That's Hello
That's British.
2003. You're recently added or new, whatever. Go
Yeah.
go through Netflix. You'll see that there are people of every walk of life, every size, every age in all of those films. Look at a commercial, especially nowadays. I think we're in a time where advertising is more diverse than it's ever been. And I hope it's more diverse, let's say next year, next quarter,
Yeah.
than it even is now. There's a place for everyone, every type. Sometimes if we don't get picked, it's not because we're too old or we're too young or we're too bald. Sometimes we didn't get picked because we're afraid of being that thing. And then
Mm.
that fear is reading as lack of experience. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
reading as discomfort. But being comfortable in your own skin is something that it's hard to teach, but it can be trained
Hmm.
into you.
Sure.
And it's hard to fake.
Yeah. That's really a great point. Absolutely. And I agree. There's room for everyone. And I think I realized that, figured that out too. Like, oh yeah, there is a place for me in this business. And it's not just for like the most famous, beautiful people that you can think of.
You want a little trick? Let me tell you a little trick.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Tricks.
then we'll wrap this up. This is
Yes.
here's the tip of the evening show, iceberg, whatever. Here's how you feel great about yourself in an audition or a self-tape or an at-home thing. Always check for the breakdowns that are looking for people 10 to 15 years older than you. And then tape for it
Okay.
and don't ever give your age. Actors, if they tell you state your name and your age, first of all, they're probably talking to the kids. Second of all, that's up to them. Well, how old do you think? How old am I
Right.
playing? You give an age range and make sure that you include the upper
The
part
top
of that range,
level. Yeah.
which is what they're asking for. Even if
Mm.
it's not normally what you'd say, it's okay to not even be within the realm of your actual number because you're auditioning as a type. How old am I? However old this character needs to be when I'm playing him or her. But if you go for the roles that are a little bit older, what that will do is it will make you feel like you are I don't know, the best looking 85-year-old guy in the commercial. Now, I'm not saying if you're 35, go for the 85-year-old role. I'm saying give it 10, 15 years difference.
Okay.
I'm I'm 41. If I audition for a 55-year-old, you know what? I might be able to pull that off,
Mm.
depending on time of day. Uh,
Right.
I might be able to pull it off, but it doesn't mean that a guy who is 55 he would nail it perfectly. Doesn't mean that the guy who's 75 wouldn't nail
Sure.
it because
Right.
oftentimes the client doesn't necessarily know really where they want to go with it anyway. They're probably looking at their target demographic, their ICP, ideal customer profile,
Mm.
and finding a person around that age. So I'm not saying younger people take the jobs from older people. I'm saying if the client doesn't know which way they're going to go, well, at least you know if they want the younger end of the spectrum, that's you.
That's you.
And you
Yeah.
can feel great about it because, hey, I'm playing the grandma, but dang, look at me.
Good.
You know,
Yeah.
that's one way to do it. Another
Interesting.
way,
Hmm.
I'm telling you, especially if it's for a film, that's commercial. If it's film or television, and it's, the doctor's wife, and she's supposed to be in her early 70s. Well, maybe the doctor's wife is in real life in her mid 40s, but the character she's playing has had so much work done that she looks 20, 25 years younger.
Right.
Why not? Who cares as long as the check is good?
Right.
Uh, you know, it's okay to be the best looking doctor's wife in that audition. It's also okay, by the way, to be the oldest one in that audition because what we're trying to do here is be memorable.
Hmm.
If they want to go with older, be the oldest one. It doesn't mean that's not a bad thing. You're just at the one of the ends of the range of numbers that they're looking for. Also, if they say Caucasian male and you're not one of those, submit. Any casting director is going to say, well, that's not what you should do because the reason we said we want Caucasian male is because that's what I don't know what casting director that is, but that's just how they talk. That's what we want. I can't tell you how many gigs I've auditioned for and booked because it said 45-year-old ex-hippie, long blonde hair with a beard, and I show up. Right? And I
Yeah.
booked the part. Why? Because I know I'm going to do a great job in the audition. I know
Right.
that. I've done the work to lead up to that. Now I don't blend in.
Yeah.
And so I'm
Right.
remembered. So it's okay to go for those roles that you don't necessarily fit the description of. And if anybody gives you a hard time, hey, at least they watched your audition. Everybody in this industry is so busy. No one's going to like hold a grudge and be like, I remember that guy. That's the guy that didn't fit the description last year. I'm not going to see him again. Nobody cares.
Right.
Was
Yeah.
that too
Great
much? Was that too
advice.
colorful? Did I go too
I
hard,
enjoyed
too far?
it. No, great advice. Great. I love getting little tips and tricks from you. So you have so much experience. And so I'll take it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to go on the older end of the spectrum. Now I'm only 21. So,
Well, you got time. You got time. you know, and
Yeah.
include on your demo reels. Don't, everyone's like, oh, well, I haven't updated my reel. Well, you should have the latest and greatest stuff. But the best demo reels show you 15
All
years
the way.
ago
Yes,
doing
I
exactly what
agree.
you're doing today. That's how you
Mhm.
can command a better rate. And maybe in another episode, we'll talk about how to figure out what those rates are and how to feel confident when you are requesting them or delivering your rate sheet
Mm.
so that
Yeah,
your
that's great
time on set
advice.
is well spent.
Yes. Yes. The sales pitch, I guess we can call it.
So to
Your
speak, yeah,
pitch.
because
Yeah.
as, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't hear me. I guess that is the universe's way of saying Leslie's got to go. She's got a family and everything, dude. So let's wrap this up. Hopefully you can hear this because I can't hear a thing anymore.
I can hear
And
you.
that has been the show
The show
show.
show.
See you
Bye.
next time. The end.